But I do love the sacred cherry dipstick powder that he has in his pocket that he's like, I could get a blowjob with this from anyone, like his magic powder.
It's the
So delicious.
last packet of candy, like in the apocalypse. So sad.
I know. Welcome to Horror Movie Survival Guide, Disco Citizens, the podcast where gorehounds
and best friends Terry Gamble
and Julia Marchesi break down a different horror movie each week,
exploring a multitude of genres, subgenres,
and subgenres,
classic and cult,
international
and underground flicks alike, determining which films are the goriest,
and offering up Horror Movie Survival Guide tips to help you
stay alive.
How disco citizens are you welcome for another episode of Horror Movie Survival Guide.
Oh my God, Julia. I'm Terry. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's talk about 2019's Blood Quantum. The title of this episode is Don't Get Bit. It was written and directed by Jeff Barnaby. We have a very long title card, which I'm going to read to you because it will be very important for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Take heed to thyself that thou make no treaty with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be cause of ruin among you. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and burn down their groves. Take heed to thyself that thou make no treaty with the inhabitants of the land from thy where. Themselves their demons sacrifice to them. They will eat their sacrifices, and when you choose some of their daughters for their sons, they will lead your sons to do the same. This is an ancient settler's proverb, it says. So we're going to get that, and then we're going to get to the Red Crow Indian Reservation in 1981, where you're going to open on a man gutting some fish, which I will say I looked away for.
Oh, okay. Oh, Julia, like, not a fisherman. Okay. Do you like fish?
My dad took me fishing a couple times when I was very small, and then once there was a realization of like, I'm killing this thing for no reason because I'm not eating it, right? And so
do you not eat fish?
I wouldn't eat a fish that was caught straight from somewhere like that with like my dad just like making it. I was like, I feel weird about it. So
okay.
I remember like I told him, I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to kill something for no reason. And he was not happy about it. And it wasn't about that. It was just like, it's the time you spend with somebody fishing, right? Like that's what it's about. And I get it. Like that's what he wanted. But I was like, I don't want to do that. That's not up my alley.
Aw, devastating. Anyway, sad face, Julia.
Not much of a survivalist, this one.
No. That's why we're taking you out pretty early. It's okay, Julia. I love you. I got you. So the fisherman, he's gutting the fish, and of course, as soon as it's gutted, I was like, oh no, the fish are gonna start moving because this is a zombie movie for sure.
See, I didn't know what this movie was about at all. So I'm not prepped for it. So I'm like, okay, here we go. Something's happening.
Yeah, so the fish are starting to move, even though they don't got any guts inside them anymore. They should be absolutely dead, but they're not. And all of a sudden, one starts wiggling on the table, and then you see the other ones that are in the basket and are all around him that he's fished that day, all start moving, and that's not a good sign. It's like, oh no. So, yeah, it's not great. But then we get this beautiful, like, kind of like cartoon, which we get throughout the thing, like graphic novels, kind of reminds me of Mandy a little bit, where you have like the like overlay of like the of the story on a woman that looks like she's giving birth to the land, but it looks like something nefarious might be growing below. So yeah.
So you're going to go straight from killing fish to killing dogs. Sorry, folks. There is a dog that has something's wrong with it, so the sheriff has to shoot it.
Don't worry, the dog will come right back though.
Yeah, don't worry. He's going to be the same, right? No problem.
Exactly, not a problem. Just kidding. He's going to come back as a freaking zombie dog for sure, pretty much straight away. And then we put the dog out of the misery and he feels bad about it, but he's not there to see the dog come back because he, the police guy, this is our main guy, Traylor. He drives away. But you find out that was his ex-lady's dog that he just put down, unfortunately. So he doesn't want to tell her about it, but he drives over to her place. But we see her chopping some wood, being a woman of the land. And she's making some tea as this guy pulls up, and they talk about their son, Joseph, who needs to be picked up from the police station because he got arrested last night.
And it sounds like they've been having some problems with both of their sons with getting arrested. So this is nothing new, but he is also the chief of the reservation. So he actually sees his dad, he goes over to see his dad, and his dad's like, "Hey, I went fishing. I got these fish you got to see." And so once he realizes what's happening, they realize the dog has also come back. They burn everything, but they're like, "It's still moving at its best. It's burning." You're like, "Oh,
Yeah, it's still there. And so um the chief is held up with a lot of stuff happening all of a sudden all around the town, and we're hearing about some bites and things like that happening around town. So he's held up a little bit, getting there late to go get his son out of the drunk tank, basically, from the police station. And so on reservations, I know if you watch a lot of, native stuff, there's like usually like reservation police versus like white people police, regular police or whatever. And so he got picked up by the other side of town police, like the the not reservation
Townie
police,
version."
the
And
townie guys. Yeah.
there is a large bridge that separates the reservation from everything else. So that is important to the story for many reasons. The first of which, the son is in jail for being drunk, climbing on top of the bridge, and then what is he doing there?
It's like that movie, The Long Walk, where people are just taking shits places. It reminded me of that.
Mm.
You gotta take a shit where you gotta take a shit, and sometimes it's on some lady's car. So he did this on purpose, though, to get arrested because his brother, Lysol, was already arrested. So he was trying to get arrested to go get in jail because he knew that if he went there, their parents would come and get them out of jail together, versus if Lysol was just in there, they would leave him in there to rot. And it's honestly for the best that he did this, because the other guy in the drunk tank might be a biter. By a
Yeah,
biter, like fully zombified as the night has gone on.
they've heard him puke all night, and they don't realize until he crawls away over to them that he's been puking up blood the whole time. And so he's Joseph's gonna get bit, and I was like, "Oh well, there goes that guy," but not in this movie. Some people are immune. That's fun.
Yeah, so the people of the land, so all of like the indigenous folks in this movie basically have something in their blood or something of some sort where they do not have the same reaction as the townies do. And so this guy who had bitten them was a townie. He goes to the hospital where his mom is a nurse, and she insists that he get a tetanus shot. Um,
But
but
all the tetanus shots are gone because they've been so many bites, and that's not right. Something weird there.
Yeah, they've
We
gone through
also
all of them at emergency the night before. Yeah.
So we do see Joseph with his girlfriend who is white, so there is tension there. She is pregnant. They are at the abortion clinic. They are deciding what to do. There and
But while they're
decide
deciding
well.
what to do, a lot of things are gonna go down where the
Yep.
town is waking up, the zombies are waking up, and there's gonna be a lot of problems. So they aren't able to get the abortion because the police and the nurses and everybody are too busy dealing with these zombie hordes that are waking up.
Yeah, so we get the chief going to check on some folks and finds a Shooker, who is one of the townsfolk who is known to be drunk, high on things, he's hanging out with nefarious people, and his pregnant zombie girlfriend is eating the baby and then bites the chief. Is that what's happening?
It's what it's looking like. Well, she said the baby was hungry, and it looks like she probably was breastfeeding the baby, but also like it was like they cannibalized each other somehow. And so Traylor had not rushed out there to go help this guy, because this guy is one of those ones who always gets calls for like domestic violence, and like he's drunk or something like that. And like that he's, dealing with drugs and stuff like that and he's like, so he wasn't in a rush to go help him. And the ambulance was also supposed to show up, but the ambulance never showed up. And we're going to find out a little bit later why, but he was, out there. And so the chief gets bit real bad. Um, but he's also going to still be okay. But the girl, not so much. She smashes her so bad,
Yeah,
blunt force
smashes her.
trauma,
Yeah,
her
with her.
whole head and face in. Mhm.
Yeah. So then he has to take Sugar
But he
with him
also
into the
says there was
police
no
car.
mouth on the baby. That's why you're like, no, the baby couldn't bite. So it's probably
Yeah.
like if she was trying to figure out how to, who knows?
Okay. Joseph gets bit again, and then go from from chainsaws, like zombies just show up to chainsaws immediately, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a jump. We're just gonna start chainsawing people. He's like, I got a chainsaw, and then 6 months later, we're living in another world, an apocalyptic haven.
It is fully apocalyptic. It's looking like, all your favorite apocalypse kind of things. The Last of Us and like, every Romero, once you get to it by the end, right? When you're like,
Yeah,
just like, okay, like people are held up in a place and, the living dead. And so we've got tensions are mounting and rising high because when you're leaving at the end of the world and it feels like everything is literally you're just trying to survive every day, it gets harder and harder. And factions, of course, are going to form as per usual. People who have different ideas of how things should be done versus who's running it. And so we're going to get a lot of that real quick. We did skip over that the ambulance, the reason it didn't make it over the bridge is because it got zombified as well too, right? And
yeah,
so, it's how we jump to chainsaws there. But there's little fires kind of everywhere. You can see like across like the cityscape as they pan across the city. You see the apocalypse. You see like where obviously probably there's traps and wires and barbed wire and stuff like that. They've made like their own little like fortified little compound, if you will. And it's looking pretty bad. And there's some people coming up on a boat and this guy, and he's a townie guy with a daughter, and she's not looking good. And they were want to make sure and check her and they ask, "Did she get bit?" And the dad, it seems real cagey about it. And you're like, obviously
yeah,
she has been. He's like, "Oh, I heard you guys have a cure here." And he's like, "Who'd you hear that from?" No, there's no cure. The only people who are immune to this stuff is us.
yeah,
Throw her on the pallet for palliative care. There's a like wooden pallet. And it's like, ha ha, har har. Ugh.
yeah. But it
Gallows
is that
humor.
But it is that thing where, like, you see these people who seem to be quite sympathetic and empathetic before this happens and now are quite cold and just saying, like, look, you can't bring them in here, man. Like, just what are you doing? This is because it is that thing where, like, now you're surviving and you're only surviving because you're not letting everybody else in. So everybody leaned in is risk. And it turns out that every fucking people they let in this are all risks and it's all going to go terribly wrong, of course. So it is a thing of like, how do you survive this movie? You have to be just kind of brutal, right? You have to say, like, with nobody else, like, you can't let people in. And that's so watch it, letting them like die at the gates is sad, but like, what else are you gonna do?
Well, they're if they let them in, it's a time bomb is what it is,
Yeah.
because if anything happens to that person, especially all these townies that are trying to get in there and for safety, it's like, yeah, you might have survived, but buddy, you're not going to probably ultimately survive because it's like eventually this thing is going to get you. And if you die in here, even of a natural cause, you're going to turn is the part of the problem
Yeah.
at this point. You've already got the gene or the disposition for this time to turn into this. So it's really a difficult thing to see, but also you've got this push and pull because you've got Charlie, that's Joseph's girlfriend who's pregnant. She's our townie girl, and so she's also feeling that the eyes on her of people being like, "You are taking time bomb with the baby in you. That might be the baby might be born wrong." There, as it was
Yeah.
earlier from this other that we saw at the beginning of the movie, and
And like
so.
Bella Swan,
Mhm.
she is nervous that her baby's gonna just like rip her and eat her way out of her womb.
Renesmee.
Ugh.
I the best name in all of cinema history. We love Renesmee. Anyway, so yeah, so she it keeps bringing all these townies in, and rightly so. Some of the folks, including Joseph's brother, Lysol's like, buddy, stop with your white girlfriend bringing in all these townies. Like, what the F? Like, this is a problem. She needs to stop doing this. But also, the guy that they brought in it sounds super racist because they're speaking in their language and their indigenous language. And he's like, speak English, speak English. And you're like, whoa, dude, we're literally protecting you. And the only reason you're in here and alive right now is because of us. And you're being awful. And so, um, they after they kill his daughter, of course, they have to take her out because she has been bit and she's already turning. And so they let the guy inside, unfortunately, but he's not going to last for very long.
No, he's going to kill himself, and in that way is also going to come back as a zombie, and is also going to infect or was already infected the third person in their party, which is Lilith, who Lysol's like, hey, we haven't done anything together. What do you say? And she turns at just that moment, and so he gets his dick munched.
Well, this is a little bit later. This is like, yeah, but because they have a whole thing where Lysol and his brother Joseph have like a heart to heart before this happens. And she covers it up for actually a few days before this happens because she gets to the nurse's station and their mom, Joseph's mom, is like, hey, like, are you okay? Did you get bit anywhere? And she lies about being bit, and she lies about how she's feeling. And so she's slowly been turning, and Lysol can see that. But also kind of not at the same time. It's weird. Like, I feel like that's a little
Mhm.
bit murky because he's been doing this thing where they've been down like at the station and doing these things, telling girls that if you suck at, you could actually survive because that's our sperm will actually be the thing that like saves you. Like it's full lies, just so they
But
can get him in jail by Townie girls, which also is kind of brilliant, but also fucked up.
but I do love the sacred, cherry dip it stick powder that he has in his pocket that he's like, "I could get a blowjob with this from anyone," like his magic powder.
It's the
So
last
delicious.
last packet of candy, like in the apocalypse. So sad.
Oh, it's I
Um,
know. But, but, they talk about him just pretty much being a terrible person this entire film, right? Like, he's not nice to anybody except
he
his
even
brother,
says, "I'm not
kind of.
redeeming either."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but he's gonna go into the full you never know how what people are gonna happen in the zombie apocalypse. There's always gonna be the one that's like, "Well, fuck you, I'm just gonna kill you all." He's gonna be like, "I have no family, and I'm gonna put a zombie girl into your town hall on purpose so everybody can be betrayed and killed." Well
But
done.
he had a family and he just never he felt always betrayed by them. So this is the sad part where it's like he has the same dad as, as Joseph, but his dad basically he felt abandoned by him because he kind of was as a child and then his mother had died and so it's like he felt like always he felt more like an orphan even though he does have a brother who seems to be obsessed with him and looks up to him the whole time and does everything from getting himself arrested multiple times to get him out of jail. He's like
Yeah.
lays himself on, like over and over for him and it's like he just won't accept that there is somebody that does love him, but he feels so betrayed by everything that's happening around him. And doesn't trust the time bombs that are around him either. He's like, we're gonna have to eventually we can't hold this forever, is what his thinking, I think, is too, right? It's like we
Yeah.
can't keep a compound like this forever. Like, what's the end game? Like, how do you end this?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, that's always my question with the zombie apocalypse, right? Like, don't even wanna mess with it because there is no good outcome ever. There's always gonna be terribleness. I'm like, "Well, there we are." I mean,
Yeah.
this and it seems like if they had been able to block off the bridge entirely, would they have been able to survive? Because what I mean, their supplies have got to have been gone through by now, right? 6 months in with how many people are
Right, but
there.
they know how to hunt. They're going out,
Yeah,
right? Because remember, and they said they know what's clean. They figured out by at this point, he said the moose and deer are still clean. That's what you can have. Like, don't take anything from the river because the river, everything that comes out of the river is contaminated. So anything that you're trying to eat, like fish and all that stuff, it's like you don't eat that. So they have like their set of like stuff that's been keeping them alive is because they know how to handle the land. It's these
right,
people, these townies that don't know how to deal with anything with the land, have run out of supplies. That's why they keep coming to them because they
right.
don't know how to like fend for themselves. So this is the thing of like he was like we should have kept these people out, but the problem is they already had, so much crossover already. Um and so it was like they were always going to be kind of doomed because of that crossover.
Do they ever say what happens in this film? Like what the trigger point is for the zombie turning? They don't, right?
They don't. They got a little bit, I think, into it in the like the graphic novelization sections of it, kind of like we're trying to more of like the visual story of it, but they don't give like the full like what happened because they also are not I think they're also still trying to figure out most of the movie too. They're like how they don't know if it's just their part of the world. They don't know how far it goes into the world,
Right.
right? They were like, is it the whole world? Are we the last people on the planet? Like they don't know.
Yeah.
Which I think would happen if they're and once like comms and everything go out and you don't have, access to like that type of information.
Yeah.
We also get this sweet lady Doris, who's the dispatcher, who's been like, talking to, the chief and stuff like that over dispatch. Um, but she might get compromised throughout this movie too, and it's just so sad.
Yeah. So, before Lysol puts the zombie girl into the town hall, he also stabs Joseph. So, while all of this is going on, also Charlie starts to go into labor right in the middle of all of it.
Of course.
Trailer, of course, and Trailer is doing his best, but the zombies have overrun the commune, and Trailer gets munched up real good. Now we do see him; he has a back wound that Joss sews up for him, and he has multiple bite marks on his back, so he's survived a lot of attacks. But
Well,
this
because
one,
he's gone out on patrol with all the guys,
yeah,
and so he they you can tell these guys are, the old guys brigade, I call them. Like it's like the four old guys that get out there. There's got grandpa
sure,
who's got this like kind of, samurai sword style sword and kind of got a code like that too. And then we've got, the other guy, our chainsaw guy, and then we've got a guy with a rifle. So it's kind of like each like kind of generation kind of has their own like way to fight
Mhm.
it as well too, which I thought was really beautiful. Um, but before he goes down rescuing them from the bunker as they're trying to escape and get out of there and get, and get Charlie out of there. He basically tells them too, like, please, tell my grandkid, great stories of me, which he used to do, with their mom. You could see that she's told stories before, of like, of the family and passing down, what he'd done if he's able to. And so he's not able to hold everybody off. And because of that, he gets trampled and run over, and the jugular gets yanked. And once your jugular's yanked, it's you can survive a lot of bites, but you can't survive your jugular getting freaking bit through.
Yeah, so
So
shortly after dad is munched, his son is going to get munched as well. Joseph's going to have to stab his own brother for doing what he did and killing everybody, and he's going to let the zombies get him, and so we get to see him torn apart quite nicely, guts aplenty.
whoo,
But he
pretty
deserves it,
bad.
right? You're like,
He
"Well,
did, but also he was like, it's inevitable. Like this has to end somehow, but not before he's also like, yeah, called them towards the church. So there's, all kinds of awfulness all over the city and the meeting spots. Yeah,
so they realize that the survivors, oh, there's only a few left, and they have to leave the island because now the island is overrun, and they'll have to go somewhere. So they're in this boat. Meanwhile, Charlie is going to be giving birth on this boat. This end is reminding me a little bit of Children of Men with babies on
yes.
boats, but a more hopeful one. I think maybe I don't know. Where are they going?
Who knows? Because I don't know if they don't also know either, but, it's Joseph and his mom, and she, of course, perfect 'cause she's a nurse, so she's able to help deliver this baby, but Charlie was already bit because of, Lysol sticking, a zombie on her kind of towards the end before they were able to escape, and so she knows she's turning, she can feel it, even though Joseph was like, "No, no, no, you're gonna be okay," and she's like, "Nah, dude, like, I already know, like, I'm glad the baby's okay, like, take care of the baby for me,"
It's
and
like such a
clearly
heartbreaking moment where she just like,
Mhm,
do you want to hold her? And like, there's only for a second, she's like, nope, give her back because she can feel it starting to go and she doesn't want to do anything terrible. So it's like she
yeah.
only gets to be there for like a moment. And it's very, very sad. And then
So, yeah,
Joseph
so
looks
they
real broken, real broken.
and he
Everyone
has to
looks
shoot his
broken.
girl. Yeah, he has to shoot his girl on the boat, but he still curls up and cuddles with her, her corpse. Um, Devastating.
And
Um,
Mama's got the baby, and where they are drifting into the sunrise. But where are they going?
um,
Because like all and like the George Romero, they're always talking about they need an island, right? Like that's the ideal thing. You have the same where like nobody
mhm.
can get in or out except by boat, which they had, and you're like, oh well, I don't know
But
where
they
you're
had a
gonna go
bridge
now.
was the problem, that there was a bridge to the island, so there wasn't only one way. I mean, there's usually some sort of bridge, right? But unfortunate. Um,
And one of the guys did have his
mhm.
like wood chipper set up there, so it just funneled all of the zombies
Yeah,
into like
he was
one mess.
did as much as he could, but it's like that's also a matter of how much power you're gonna have, how much petrol do you have? Because they had to go on
Yeah,
missions. That's partly why one of the missions in the movie, they had to go and get petrol and, like, go through, and that's where we saw the 4 old guys, mount up and, do their thing where they talk about, it's like maybe the gods forgot about us, like, we're just out here doing our thing. Um, and so it's a lot. Yeah.
So I think how you survive this movie, you have to be immune. Obviously, if you're not,
Yeah.
then but otherwise, just not letting other strangers in. Because I feel like
But this be
how
Mhm.
many horror movies do we watch where somebody's like doing fine and then a stranger shows up and everything goes fucking off the rails, right? Like that, like it was going okay until you took the strangers in. So I feel like we were taught as children to be wary of strangers. I feel like that's a valid lesson.
Continues on to adulthood, and I think you're absolutely still right, because it's like that's the unknown entity, the unknown quantity, right? But especially in an apocalyptic, you know, um, space, survival is survival, right? And so it's like, "Hey, actually, I'd rather," as much as you want, but the problem is you still crave companionship, you still crave, wanting to help, be altruistic in some ways. Um but again, like, these guys had obviously differencing of opinions of how that was to be executed, or,
Sure.
what was gonna be possible. And they knew they couldn't hold it forever, and they couldn't keep all those people there forever, because at some point, somebody gonna turn.
I mean, I feel like most zombie movies are less about the zombies and more about the humans, right? And I feel like this one is as well. But I feel like this is a situation where, like, if the zombies hadn't shown up, they might have been okay.
Well, that is
like some
that's the Indigenous story. That's literally it. So, I
yeah,
mean, that's like talking about colonization and people coming in and then pushing their way in and then insisting that other people can come in. And even with the help and altruisticness and safety, it's like, the ultimate Thanksgiving story. We fed you, we clothed you, and now you're going to kill all of us. That's literally the allegory that this is, right? And we're doing that
yeah,
this week for a reason. And this is, a beautiful time in November for us to remember that. But that's why I wanted to cover this so much too. But also that is part of it. So it's like, okay, they extend all this kindness to you, and what's the repayment? Is to infect you as well with all the diseases that you're bringing forth and bringing in. It's awful.
yeah,
So it's like, what can we do for survival together? Well, we do have to figure out some way and some place for us to continue on. We need to take care of the land. We need to figure out what's clean. We need to keep our waters clean. We need to, we need to think about all of those things. And I think this is a
sure.
beautiful, like, allegory or lesson for like what we was wanted and needed so that we don't end up, taking everybody out if we don't need to. I don't want everyone to have to die because of bad choices.
Huzzah. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
gore
so we
factor.
survive by figuring out how to love each other and take care of each other and not bring diseases to each other and keep everything clean,
Yeah,
Take care of our planet, our
yeah,
animals. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
valid.
Yeah.
Okay, so gore factor.
Oh,
1,
yeah.
not enough blood to fill a Dixie cup. 2 is a puddle of blood. 3 is enough blood to gross out the average viewer. 4 is a bathtub of blood. 5 is run for the barf bag. It's a zombie movie. It's got to be a 5. They got to be guts aplenty, and there is.
When Lilith chomps on a dick,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I
he's
was like,
going, don't
well,
let her finish it. And I'm like, oh.
and
So
she's like, she's absolutely gonna finish it. Oh, disgusting. Movie ratings: Chainsaw is 1 if you're desperate, 2 barely qualifies as a horror film, 3 seen worse, seen better, 4 not too shabby, 5 fantasticorical. So 4 for me, not too shabby. I really enjoyed this film. Super fucked up. Um, I love fucked up movies. Get more out of life. See a fucked up movie. Thanks, Sean
that's
Waters. You
right.
right.
That's why we're friends. This is a 4 for me as well. I thought it was really cool, and it was a zombie movie with a great message and something coming from that's very poignant and also very relevant. And also, I love a downbeat ending, because that's the thing is like it's downbeat ending and an upbeat ending at the same time, right? Because the baby
Yeah.
symbolizes new birth, rebirth, and et cetera, et cetera. But like, they have been shoved off their lands by these other people coming in. Like, where are they going? Because we don't even know. Do we know where they are? Like what state they're in? I don't even know where they
They're in
are.
Canada. This is a Canadian.
Okay,
The writers from Quebec,
great.
Indigenous. So this is, they could be off the coast of like somewhere up near, I don't know, up near Quebec somewhere,
Okay.
who knows? So
Well, I guess it's like the
yeah.
end of Children of Men, right? Like you're like, does
hmm
that is that a downbeat ending or an upbeat ending? You decide. It's kind of both.
It's a little bit of both because obviously they've lost literally everything, like all of their family. Grandpa out there just slashing the end what he can of those zombies that were coming, holding the
Yeah.
line. I will hold the line to the end. Just like I love him so much. He's such a badass. And who knows? Who knows where they're gonna go? I'm hopeful.
We love talking movies, and we appreciate you listening to us talk about it. If you like what we talk about, you can subscribe or like or follow or rate us, help us rule the world.
Yes,
And
on
you
all
can,
the platforms, Facebook,
yeah,
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everything. Hop on, help us out. Do the thing. Smash the things.
do the things. You can also find me on 2 other podcasts. I am on JodoWOWsky, all about Alejandro Jodorowsky and his films and comics. I'm also on the Losers Club, all about Stephen King. So you can hear me blab on about that for many, many hours if you so desire. Terry and also do another show with George A.
Yeah.
Romero Foundation.
That seems topical because we love zombies,
Yay!
and the king of them. So we're pretty well versed when it comes to zombie universe things. Check us out there. We talk to different women and femmes every month in horror. It's delightful conversations. There's a whole back catalog. I recommend checking those out. We have them a playlist linked on our YouTube here if you'd like to check that out. And you can watch them live the last Thursday of the month. What else? Anything else, Julia? Long
Talk
days,
to us if
pleasant
you
nights.
want to.
Yeah. Patreon, whatever, Teespring, whatever. Okay.
We appreciate you listening. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
a joy to do this with my best friend, and the fact that you all want to listen as well, it makes it a double joy. Double plus good,
incredible.
as they would say.
Yeah, because we would still be talking
Very
and having these
rural.
conversations anyway, but the fact that other people want to hear it is like, okay, sure, let's go. Let's roll. And we ride at dawn. Okay, great. I love you.
Excellent.
Excellent. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Horror Movie Survival Guide is independently produced by Terry Gamble, Julia Marchesi, and Sierra Ryan. Hey, that's me. If you would like to support the show, find us on patreon.com/horror movie survival guide.